Hello, it's B Money, and what do you know? I decided to do a review today. Today we're going to talk about Gaspar Noe's I Stand Alone. Thus far, it is my favorite from him. For those that don't know, he has also directed Carne, which is I Stand Alone is supposed to be a sequel to it. Carne is a short film, about 40 minutes or so. He's also done Enter the Void and Irreversible. Most people know him for Irreversible. And he's an Argentinian director, but most of his films are French language films because most of them are made in France. His father was Argentinian and his mother was French. So, a little background for you. The movie that comes before I Stand Alone, Carne, the short film, is basically the tale of this butcher who has an autistic daughter, and the daughter's mom leaves them. I can't talk today. I'm sorry. Leaves him, and so he's forced to raise the daughter alone, and he starts having incestual urges towards his daughter. I don't know why I raised my eyebrows, but incestual urges. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, incestual urges, yeah. But anyway, he runs a butcher shop, and one day his autistic daughter has her first period, and she freaks the fuck out because she doesn't know what's going on. So she runs to her father with blood on her panties, and so the only thing he can think of is, somebody's raped my daughter, so he stabs an innocent man in the face and gets to prison. That's what happens in Carne. I Stand Alone picks up where it leaves off, and he's just gotten out of prison, and he goes back to one of the bars that he used to go to before he went to prison, and the owner of the bar is this fat lady, and she seduces him, and they have sex, and she gets pregnant by him. So he's kind of forced to tag along with her. She sells her bar and promises him when they move to the countryside in France that she'll buy him a new butcher shop so he can, reopen. But she never gets around to it, so he ends up getting this job as a night watchman at this retirement home. At the retirement home, this one girl gets freaked out because she sees someone die, so he walks her home, and he decides he's not going to pull a move on her, but his wife accuses him of cheating anyway. So they get into a big fight, and he goes, BOOM! Airstrike to the baby hanger. Yeah. Forces an abortion. Pounds her prego belly. So he's on the run, he steals a gun from the house, he goes back to Paris. Ugh, such a riveting tale. And he's hitting up his old buddies for money so he can find work, start being a butcher again, and nothing goes as according to plan. I'm not going to ruin the plot, it's a pretty good movie. But there's a little background for you. Oh, there go my smokes. But, I really dig this movie. It's extremely bleak and nihilistic, and, I was actually talking to one of my friends. I said, it's a very nihilistic film. He's like, oh, nihilism's stupid. What's the point? And I was like, well, the movie's not about nihilism. It's just the attitude of the movie because the character doesn't give a fuck about anything, really. Well, he does, about his certain goals, but as for society and everything, he just hates everyone. And, it reminded me a lot of American Psycho. And this is another case where a movie kind of scares me because I identify way too much with the main character. And in both American Psycho and I Stand Alone, the main characters are pieces of shit, but there's still parts in their lives that are comparable, at least to me. Maybe I need to go see somebody, I don't know. But, it's got a very, unusual style to it, compared to Gaspar Noe's other movies. I like the guy, but with most of his movies, he does this weird shit where the camera's all rotating and making you want to throw up. But in this one, the camera works very stationary. It doesn't move much, except for whenever key points are made in the dialogue, in which case it makes a sound effect and it zooms in real close. Like, my camera's stationary because it's built into my laptop, so I'm talking, I say something important. Yeah. It's always followed by, a gunshot sound effect, and whenever key points are brought up in the dialogue, little title cards will bring up, when he mentions morality, it'll pop up with a slide card that says morality. or justice. The funniest instance of that happening is when he's arguing with his wife and she calls him a fag and he goes, faggot! I thought that was funny. I'm a bad person. But, what more can I say about I Stand Alone? I really dug it. Really cool. I've now seen Gaspar Noe's 3 feature-length films, but I haven't seen Carnate, the one that comes before this one. So I'll have to look into that. If anyone has it, if they'd like to get rid of it, let me know. I'll work something out with you. Yeah. I guess this is the end of my review. Really good movie. I Stand Alone. Check it out.